With the CFL Draft upon us on Tuesday, we catch up with a former CJFL standout from the London Beefeaters. This is Shaq Johnson. You now remember him or know him as a receiver for the BC Lions. Shaq, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for doing this. Do you remember much of your draft year? You were drafted in 2016 by the Lions, I think 32nd overall. Do you remember much?
Yeah, I definitely remember it. It was definitely the time I've been waiting for. So I remember I was in London. I was with my brother and we was just watching it at night, to be honest. I didn't really want to be around too much people because I really didn't know when I was gonna go. Um, but it was just a surreal feeling. It was just dope. It was just a lot of feelings just going through. I knew I was kind of going somewhere. Just the feeling was just like I was confident I was going somewhere, I should say, but it was just the feeling was obviously anxious because you just didn't know where.
Yeah. Were you getting more anxious as the names were getting called and you were still on the draft board, so to speak?
Yeah, I was getting way more like the anxiety was just kicking up, to be honest. But I was just trying to stay calm and just know that okay, like I did good at the combine, everything should play itself out, work itself out.
Yeah. So how did you find out that the Lions took you? Were you watching? Did you get a phone call?
Yeah, I got the phone call. I was there just chilling. I was just like, man, I don't know what's gonna happen because the first two rounds went through, and then the third round was going through, and I was like, okay, I'm not hearing my name. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I kind of just went away from the TV for a bit and just was just chilling, just was eating something, and then came back and the fourth round started, and I was like, okay, what's going on? The first couple picks went, and I was like, okay, and I walked away, and then my phone rang. And then I saw that it was BC. And I was like, wait, what? I'm going to BC? I'm like, dang, I'm going to BC.
Yeah. Who called you?
So
What was that phone call like?
it was Neil Mick. It was Neil McVoy. My bad, Neil, if I messed that up. But he's our GM, our co-GM now, actually. But he was the one that called me, let me know that they were selecting me. Congratulations, and they were looking forward to having me and seeing me in camp.
Excitement, no doubt, but also maybe a sense of relief that, okay, I got picked.
Yeah, definitely it was a sense of relief when I got picked because all the hard work kind of paid off, and like the road that I went through to get here was not the typical road, the ordinary road. So it was definitely a sign of relief.
Was your brother still with you when you got that call, or were you
Yeah, he was still
alone?
with me. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was still with me. He was definitely still with me. He was hyped with me and everything like that. Had
That's
ourselves a couple of drinks.
awesome. So then you find out, okay, now I'm going to BC. You're in Ontario. So your first thought about moving from Ontario out to BC to play football was what?
I was just like, oh man, here we go. Football takes me outside of the province again, But I was just hyped. I was just excited just for a new beginning, because all I know is Ontario, right? So I was just like, man, let's go to the other side of the other side of the country, see how it is on the coast, and let's start to adapt.
Yeah. When you got off the plane in BC, you saw the mountains. I mean, Ontario
Yeah, that was
relatively
crazy.
flat. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a surreal feeling every day. Waking up in training camp was just waking up in mountains and just looking like, what in the heck is going on? Like, finished practice, walking to the cafeteria and just looking at the mountains, just in awe.
Yeah. So what was that first camp like, other than the surrounding area of Kamloops? What was first?
It was an eye opener, man. It was just an eye opener seeing that there was just even all the work that I've done, there was still more work to do, right? Because there was guys up here that are 5, 6, 7 year old vets that are feeding their kids, got wives, got total families and everything like that. Are taking this very serious. So it's just about taking your game to another level and being really locked in into all the minor details.
So in training camp, were you in awe of anybody when you first walked on the field in that first day of camp?
I wouldn't say I was really off too many guys. It was just more of just the speed. But the guys I would say that really stood out to me were more like Ryan Phillips, Manny Arsenal, Nick Moore, guys like that.
couple good guys to
Yeah,
tag team. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, so you're going in, I believe this will be your 5th year, right? If you get on the field here in 2021.
Yeah, it'll be
So
my fifth
now,
year playing, exactly. Yeah.
yeah, some of these rookies that are going to get drafted on Tuesday are all of a sudden going to look at you for some guidance. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm definitely cool with it. A lot of the guys that I see coming in now are some guys that I've coached, whether in like Brampton or I just know just a word through the city and stuff like that. So it's good to see that they've worked and they stayed at it, you know what I mean? And their time has come now. So I'm definitely always an open book when it comes to like anybody wanting to learn the game, needing help around like, around the city and things like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to being in that role.
So that's really interesting. You actually understand that the draft is coming up, and you know some of the players that are going to be hopefully drafted on Tuesday.
Yeah, I just know, some of the guys from like Western and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Are they asking you? Are they saying, "Hey, Shaq, like, what can I expect? What should I do on draft day?"
Yeah, some of the guys have asked me, like my little buddy, Miles Milano, he's a linebacker that's in the draft. He's asked me like what to expect, just going into there, and just what type of mindset just to have, and just what to look for and what to expect. And I just tell him to just be him, you know what I mean? Because a lot of players, a lot of Canadian players, they like to psych themselves out, I would say, going into it. And they don't really remember that at the end of the day, they see something in your game, you know what I mean? So just go out there and be you, and don't psych yourself out and think of it too much. At the end of the day, it's football, right?
Mm-hmm. And don't
So
compare the CFL draft to, say, the NFL draft.
yeah, don't try to compare it. Just at the end of the day, yeah, you guys are doing the same thing, but at the end of the day, you know yourself, and you're gonna go out there and just do what you can do best. So don't psych yourself out thinking about somebody else or trying to compare yourself to somebody else.
Now, for you, hopefully you'll get on the field here in 2021, heading into your 5th year with the Lions. What have you heard from the Lions? Did you expect to get back on the field this year?
I'm hoping to get back on this field. They set us a date, so that's a good thing. Last year we didn't have a date, so that's a positive thing looking forward. At the end of the day, it comes down to what Ontario says if they're gonna open up everything. So that's the eye to keep on to watch. Sorry, I should say, for coming up over the next couple of weeks, over the next month or so. So that's all I'm just really looking at. We're having our meetings and stuff like that, keeping up, making sure we know the playbook and things like that. So we're just doing our part as much as we can to be ready for when and if they give us that opening period.
Do you feel you'll have higher expectations on yourself, and the coaching staff will have some higher expectations after arguably your best year in 2019?
From what standpoint are you saying that?
Being on the field and making plays and getting the ball more.
For me
Yes,
having nah, at the end of the day, it's a strategy, right? The game is a strategy at the end of the day. So it's my part has to be played like other receivers. We have like Rhymes gonna do his part, Burns gonna do his part, Lucky's gonna do his part, and Durant's gonna do their part, right? So it's just about everybody doing their part, and the coaches are gonna call the plays and get the ball into the hot hands. You know what I mean? And then we have Mike, so Mike's gonna spread the thing around all day. So it's just fun when you have a quarterback like that as well.
It's football. It's supposed to be fun, although it's a job, but it's still supposed to be fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely still has its fun in there, but at the end of the day, like you said, it is a job. So the business side definitely kicks itself in when it needs to, when it has to, I should say.
If you could sit down with one or two players that you don't know that are going to be drafted, or at least on the draft board on Tuesday, what advice would you give that player?
Going into training camp, or just
getting ready for the draft on draft day? If you didn't know the player, what would you?
I would say don't listen to anything. Well, this one's kind of sound weird, but don't take in anything the coaches have said to you in those meetings per se, or like what they've told you if they are going to draft you, they really like you, because you realistically don't know where you're going. So just kind of just keep an open mind and don't try to have your heart set on one place. Also you don't have like kind of a letdown a little bit, like, oh, I thought these guys really liked me, but You know what I mean? And sometimes it messes up some players, sometimes it doesn't, you know what I mean? So I'll just say, just kind of just try to stay level-headed. Just
That's a
going
good
into it and
point.
just looking good.
That's a really great point, because a team could say, you know, you fit all our you check all the boxes on our team and you're looking good. And then if that team doesn't select that player, that's a good point,
Yeah.
because it plays
Yeah,
with
it's just just a little psychology that plays with everybody. Because at the end of the day, we're human, right? So everybody's gonna feel it. Some people are gonna channel it in different ways. Some people's gonna let it hit them a little more. So I would just say, just stay level-headed and don't take that in, because at the end of the day, BC didn't interview me, didn't talk to me at all at the draft or anything. So, and then they drafted me in the 4th round. So,
and you're happy there, no doubt. You're happy that you're
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Been there for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. So.
Well, Shaq, thanks for doing this. Congratulations on all the success so far, and fingers crossed we'll see you on that football field come the 2021 season.
No, I appreciate it, Ryan. I appreciate you reaching out and asking and seeing what I thought about the draft coming up. I really appreciate that.